To me, "I'm never going to marry," he said. Before we get to the usual character assassination from the groom, about the groom, that formed the basis of a traditional speech, I'd like to thank Si for his kind words about his bridesmaids, Ashley, Charlie, Tia, Mia, and little Reese and Callum. It's been a great honour for Si to ask me to be his best man on a very important day. I've never been a best man before, and I'm not renowned for writing speeches, but Si said, if I make a good job of this, I can be his next one. But seriously, Si, thank you for undoubtedly the great honour of being our best man, in particular for the allowing us to go out to about our dreams of dressing up like Lawrence, Llewellyn Bowen. I wanted to do the job of good justice and decided to do some research on the internet. And I set out to research the information and responsibilities of the best man. And anyone used to the internet will tell you that you get sidetracked, especially when your wife's out. Anyway, after being sidetracked, I got back to my research. And joking aside, I found some very interesting things, especially about the continental drift. And I know you didn't come here for a lecture on various things, but the plate tectonics and geography is very interesting stuff. Apparently the continents of Europe and America are moving towards each other at 5 centimetres a year. Now this is very slow progress. Scientists have actually created and measured things that move very slowly. And they've called it the Simon-Austin scale. Based on the time it's taken him to marry Cath. My research also told me that the speech would involve some humorous stories about the groom's expense. Well, character assassination, really. I once went to a wedding and a best man stood up and explained to the groom that being a man had been led a quiet and reserved life. I'd given little juicy material and off-colour racist stories about the best man's speech. Well, the good news is, with Si, there's plenty. And I hope you're all sitting comfortably and have no pressing engagement for the next 2 hours. But no, of course, I'm only kidding, and I do have plenty of material, but 90% of it is not for public consumption. There was the cast of Lady Bless from Bangkok and the goat from Home Village. I digress. I know a lot of people are thinking, what does Cath see in Si? Well, I've known him for a long time, and to be fair, I don't know either. Until I caught him in the shower, and God's been very kind. Could it be his worth ethic? We first met when we were both in different lives. No kids, I was on my second wife, and he was flogging chamois leathers. Si used to make numerous trips to Stockport and Mosley, just over the hill, under the common guise of knocking. Any chamois leathers for sale? But known to you and I as complete harassment. Flogging either windows, carpets, stolen skyboxes, knocked off tellies from Ronnie. And that was while he was working for On Digital. The general public thought went tits up due to the fact they couldn't keep up with Sky. Wrong. It was Si and Stu who raped them for bonuses, paid unbeknown sums of money. Rupert Murdoch was shitting himself. And all this from the comfort of their own company cars. Whilst you had the likes of Bungle and Naeem, you remember Naeem? Knocking on doors, selling tats, and On Digital monkeys. From On Digital. Rupert Murdoch barred the pair of them. Si now works as a training consultant. He showed some early promise, especially when I moved into number 3 with him. And I had to answer the phone, and he told me that when the phone rang, it was his boss to tell him that he was on his way to work an hour ago, when in fact he was still in bed. He also told me that they were selling death to old folks in Cheshire. Despite the his unusual approach to selling, i.e. harassment, Si was very successful. And he was the guest of honour at a distributor of annual awards sponsored by the Huddersfield Examiner. You know where this is going, pal, don't you? Who put a front page spread about a bogus salesman called Simon flogging free calls of broadband to some poor old lass. Also, I think he was trying to sell her a funeral. But this old lass hadn't got a clue about broadband. She thought he said brass band. And the last time she heard about the telephone was from Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the bloody thing. So I get back to the question, what the hell does she see in him? Probably it's his romantic nature. Because as anyone knows, Si and Cath know that they travel the world. In fact, they visit so many far-off places, they've got a bigger carbon footprint than Alan Wicker. Scientists have estimated that there's personal responsibility for 15% of global warming and the submerging of some low-lying islands. All the romantic places they could have visited: Rome, the Vatican City, Venice, St. Mark's Square, a bit of size. New York, a nice carriage ride through Central Park. The Empire State Building. Some very romantic places, ideal for the proposal of marriage, you may think. Well, it may be true, but Si chose something else. He chose something altogether less salubrious, although he remains just as romantic. The smooth person that he is. Remember, he's a salesman. Number 3, Broadfield Park. A meal for 2 from the Bish Miller. I'm surprised you're still alive, because we had the shits for weeks of it. Followed by a few pints in the Bridge Tavern, and then fresh air sex on Old Moss.
You're not supposed to tell her about it.
So it's not the work, and it's not the romance. So that will have to remain one of life's great mysteries, as why men have nipples and why women go to the bog in pairs. Although Cath did actually tell me that Si's brightened up her life. Well, she said he never turned off the lights, which amounts to virtually the same thing. To be truthful, Si and Cath have shared their romantic moments. I'd like to share one with them both here today. So, Cath, would you put one hand on the table, please? And can you put one on top of that? Marvellous. Well, this is the only time you're going to get the upper hand, pal. On a more serious note, I've known both Si and Cath for many years and value their friendship immensely. And Si has always been a great friend, and they have both always been there when I've ever answered them. Now, Si and Cath seem to have found their soulmates with each other. And I do have to say, Si, how lucky you are. Having found and gained a warm, loving, caring wife who radiates beauty wherever she goes. And Cath, how lucky you are having gained such a gorgeous dress and a bunch of flowers. And speaking of the dress, whilst we were in the tower this afternoon, Si said it would be fantastic because it blends in with the rest of the kitchen. The only problem I've seen so far with Si and Cath is the seating plan. And they really couldn't decide where everyone should sit. So Si, in his true fashion, came up with the idea that those who bought the most expensive items were sat at the front, and those who bought the tap were sat at the back. So thanks to the side, you have a £5 Wilco's voucher. Now, a few words of wisdom for someone's overdosed on wedding cake, which you know I have. Firstly, set the ground rules and establish that whatever you do, that Cath knows best. And always remember to tell her that those 3 important little words, you're right, dear. Cath, husband's like a tile floor, and if you lay it right the first time, you're going to spend years walking over it. And don't keep him in the doghouse for too long, because he might give his bone to the woman next door. And probably move her in. Whilst everyone's still awake, I'd like to bring some messages from people who couldn't be here today. So, congratulations, Si, on your special day. From all the girls, Saskia from the Buffalo Lounge in Upper Briggate, Leeds. A special special thanks goes to Jess. Goes to Jess, who loved the Buffalo Lounge so much that he returned and bought it and added it to his property portfolio. The girls are so pleased with you that they're not going to be deported anymore. And one final message to Si: we could have been so good together. I will miss our nights by the pool. Lots of love, Michael Barrymore. Barrymore. He also cries like a baby. Now we've been best friends for the past 11 years, and in which time we've hardly argued and often shared our dark and most considerate secrets about our girlfriends. So you've been a true friend to me, Si, and look forward to knowing you and Cath for the rest of our lives. So then, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to raise a glass at my relief and toast and wish them the happiest future in the world. So I may be the first to wish them the first Mr. and Mrs. Simon Austin.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a round of applause for all the speeches, please? It's great to move to the drawing room, tea, coffee and cake. Thank you very much.